At the leisure of my judge. Our world has become so distracted by little things that we have become unaware of how unhealthy this behavior can be, not only to our physical health, but overall to our mental health. We should be focusing on things that truly matter, not things such as technology or social media. After the average human wakes up, they immediately go to their phones. Studies actually show that we check our phones at an average of once every 12 minutes. As technology continues to take over our world, it can be said that we have become masters at multitasking. Although, multitasking is far from the right word to describe what is actually happening. We are not doing two things at once, as much as we are quickly switching between tasks and rushing ourselves through them. Many people do not sit down and give each job their full effort, like we should be doing. The main cause of this issue is lack of concentration. Not being concentrated can lead to many bad things, such as high levels of stress being the main cause. These high levels of stress hormones do not have a good effect on brain cells whatsoever. Psychiatrist Edward Bullmore suggests this in his latest book called The Inflamed Mind. Throughout this book, Bullmore focuses on the concentration between inflammation and depression. Having better concentration is good overall and makes life easier. One example of this is my brother. Whenever he gets asked to do the dishes, he completely rushes through it and always ends up breaking at least one dish. This is due to him not fully concentrating on the task at hand. My brother, like I said before, has broken a countless number of dishes due to not fully concentrating. And this is bad, because if my brother really worked on concentrating and developing a habit of staying focused, my mom would not be having to buy new plates every month. And it's not just him, it's me too. My whole family, we tend to rush through simple tasks such as mowing the lawn or doing the laundry or doing the dishes and things like that, when we truly should be working on concentrating and not trying to just get it done so that it's over, so that we can move on to our next task. And along with that, psychologist Jeremy Dean states that it takes about 3 weeks to form a new habit. So this means that if my brother wanted to work on really focusing on doing the dishes, he would have to do them every day without getting off task for 3 weeks straight. 21 days of just staying focused and not paying attention to unimportant things. New habits, such as better concentration, are not able to happen overnight, but the more we work on it, the easier it will seem to become. So if you were to try to form a new habit in 2 days, it's not going to work. It's going to take at least 3 weeks, and that is at the minimum at least 3 weeks. And one possible solution to start moving towards progress would be to turn off all devices for a day and see how much more focused you become. For example, once a week I'll try to just log off all social media and lock my phone in a drawer for a day, and sometimes I can't even last an hour, but there have also been some times where I can last a whole week without my phone, and I always feel more concentrated and just more in touch with the earth and not so distracted with something that is just fake. I don't feel so like wasting my time just staring at a screen, staring at a useless piece of glass that will never really help me with anything else. And a more serious issue regarding our distracted society is what we have been losing while all these things have been happening through our minds and things like that. And as we have developed a lack of concentration, this has directly affected our social lives and ability to connect with others. New research has shown that our ability to remember and process data would improve drastically if our devices were out of sight, such as what I try to do, putting my phone in a drawer for even if it's just a few hours. Many people spend hours every day scrolling through social media and useless apps such as Snapchat, TikTok, Instagram, maybe even Netflix or YouTube, and I'm guilty of this too. But we're doing this when we could be outside doing something to benefit not only our physical health, but mostly important, our mental health, such as doing something simple, such as going for a run or going on a bike ride, doing things that could actually benefit yourself. Like, I can't think of anything that staying on Snapchat for 2 hours, what good that can do for you. Obviously, I'd probably do that every day, but going out for a run, like, that puts you in a good mood. It makes you more fit. Like, it just overall better for you, mentally and physically. Psychology Today says that the typical smartphone user encounters their smartphone at least 85 times a day. That is just crazy. As our society continues to become dependent on such pointless things, such as cell phones, we are losing our ability to have deeper conversations with others. Because I know I personally have had a few people that I've only been friends with over social media that I met through Snapchat, or whether it be Snapchat or Instagram, things like that. And it really takes away part of the in-person communication that we have, such as what we're going through now, having to do online school. Obviously, it's what's needed with the pandemic going on right now, but it's taken away that social interaction that we get from going to school. And this also directly changes the nature of any social interaction. And I thought this would be a perfect time to share a personal story of how new technology has affected my life. For example, I have a little cousin who lives in Texas. His name is Bennett. And, he, as a little kid, obviously he couldn't really go on an iPad. But when he was about 3 or 4, he was always outside, played baseball, things like that. But now he has a phone, and every time we go to visit, he's always on it, playing Minecraft, Pokemon, because he's still a little kid. He's 8 years old. But he's just always on that phone, and anytime that my Uncle Mike tries to take it away, he just always cries. And it's rough. It's rough to watch, to see just how, addicted he's become. And he's so young, so I can't imagine what he's going to be like when he's my age or when he's just older. And that was 5 years ago, and it just keeps getting worse, and there's really nothing that we can do. Obviously take it away, but it's going to take him even longer to form that habit of going back to normal life. And it is hard to watch. But the addiction to screens has affected social lives even in children. People, including Bennett, have become so reliable on modern technology that they are forgetting what truly matters in life. Instead of worrying about how many likes you have on Instagram or the latest drama with the Kardashians, you should be worried about your family, friends, your job, school, things that will actually matter later on in life. How many people you text today isn't going to matter in 30 years. And if this issue is not solved soon, we will all forget how to talk to one another. I would want to know how many people could even go a full day living life the way it's meant to be lived, spending a day in nature with no screens, no technology. There would be no distractions. I doubt most people could even go a day living that way. After several studies, some experiments have found that people get used to living a life away from screens. It takes a while to form a new lifestyle or habits, as I said earlier, but many people explain how much easier it is. A study by Cal Newport states most people report that after a week or so of some mild withdrawal symptoms, they're surprised by how little they miss the features of services like Twitter or Instagram. On any normal day, it may seem like you can't live without an iPhone by your side, but the more time we spend away from it, the less you will want to be around it. We are one of the first generations to have our baby pictures on cell phones, and technology will just keep becoming more complex here on out. My grandma, born in 1942, has modern technology such as a television and an iPhone, but she grew up in a day and age that had nothing like we had now. I constantly have to help her figure out certain things, whether that's getting her printer to work or just how to send a text message. And coming from no technology to this many advanced devices is crazy, especially because she's one of the people that saw it firsthand as it was increasing. It's just interesting to me how the world has evolved, but this is not the part I want to focus on. The sad part is how obsessed our world has become with these advancements. So, while technology has had a positive effect on our world in some ways, it has caused us to become distracted from the real world and caused a strain on things such as concentration and how we talk to people. People could be focusing on working out or spending time with their family, yet they decide to spend their days with their faces glued to screens. A possible solution to this issue could be to take time away from the parts of life that do not really matter. Try to go a day in the real world and slowly go longer. From the study by Cal Newport that I shared earlier, people explain how it gets easier as you stay off longer, so it's not impossible. I myself constantly log out of these apps, like I said earlier, and it always brings me back to thinking what truly matters. In 30 years, it won't matter how many people I Snapchat, but will matter is how I live my life and how I spent my time. Life is short, and we shouldn't waste it away doing pointless things on our phone. Like I said, the average human checks their phone every 12 minutes. If everyone were to put in their best effort, maybe we will even be able to raise that number to checking our phones only 2 or 3 times a day. And hopefully, maybe not at all. Thank you.